In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes podcast. I'm Vicky Fraser and this giggling lunatic is Teresa Misty Mozzico.
Yes, Mozzico.
Yeah, Mozzico. And so we should apologise. We've already been giggling and I don't think we've even started drinking yet. What are you drinking, Misty?
What? Why? I'm drinking my favorite elixir, red wine, of course.
Good. Would you like to show the listeners or even the watchers what's...
Got a little bell on the bottom, so when it gets empty, I can simply tinkle my bell and my boyfriend comes running and pours it back in, fills it back up again. So
amazing. So you're drinking red wine and I'm drinking unicorn tears. Remember Ray gave me them when I was at your place.
Ray did give you those, yes. Oh, that's lovely. How are the unicorn tears? Are they
I'm just about to try them. Hang on.
Oh my goodness. I can already see the horn emerging. Oh, good God. That does not look...
I was laughing at the horn.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's very tasty.
Wow. I mean...
Slightly gritty, but I think that's because there's glitter in it.
Oh. Slightly gritty. Must be the glitter.
Yeah. So thanks, Ray. Cheers.
Cheers to Ray and his unicorn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very nice.
And so we are going to be talking this week about email marketing because this is what you do. Right. Would you like to tell our listener all about yourself? Because I like your background because you're not just like another copywriter. So.
Yeah. I fell into copywriting a few years ago now, but I'm actually a 10-year veteran of brick and mortar entrepreneurialism, which is 10 years of just pain and torture for the greater good. So that's what I've been doing for 10 years. I'm in the fitness industry and running boot camps and nutrition programs and all that kind of jazz. So I've done that, which is lovely. And then in about probably the past 3 to 4 years, I'd say, I did stumble into copywriting after learning from various mentors that are highly regarded in our industry. So I've learned from the best, and now I am in a fantastic predicament, which is copywriting jobs and gigs and projects that they just fall in my lap, honestly, are now far outweighing the income that I have got from my brick and mortar boot camp. So it's very lovely because I just love to write, and I love to write all the things I have to write about. I have a very fun job, so it makes life very...
You do.
Inappropriate at most points.
And I'm going to just stop you at this point and put in a warning.
Oh,
parental advisory. There might be a bit of swearing, but frankly, that's not what the warning's about. Because I'm about to ask Misty what she's working on at the moment, and it's probably not stuff you want your children listening to if you don't want to have awkward conversations with them. So press pause, put the little darlings to bed, and then come back. Misty, what are you learning all about at the moment?
Right now, Vicky, my current project for the next couple of days is a sex education program, which is quite unique in the fact that it's not just your regular Joy of Sex book that you read through and think, oh God, look at all these anatomical pictures. And it's very, very boring. It's actually real life sex education. So I am working on creating a university education or a season of fingering fanatic. So we will be discussing the art of masturbation, mutual masturbation, G-spot domination, and anything else that ends in Asian is what we're doing. Yeah.
I'd just like to point out that from the other room where Joe's sitting, I just heard him choke.
What?
I think he might have spluttered his drink all over the place.
These things happen. Yeah.
No,
So I know all about sluttering things all over the place these days. So yes. So I do. It's an amazing sex education program, and it's taught me a lot, which is great. And then I also have I do supplementation, a lot of anti-aging stuff, and also I'm in the IM space helping entrepreneurs become more systemized and more effective with the systems that they have in place. So it spans a wide range of niches at the moment, but yeah.
Cool. Well, that sounds awesome. This is one of the reasons I love copywriting for clients, because you just learn the most random shit.
There's no end to the amount of stuff you learn, and it forces you. Every new client and every new project forces you to learn something new that you might not have done before, which is stressful but also beneficial. So.
And also, you know what's just occurred to me? It forces you to think about the world from other people's point of view. It's not just occurred to me, but I just thought so many people could benefit from that, and there would be fewer wars. I reckon if everyone was a copywriter, there wouldn't be wars. Actually,
for this particular project, I have to really look at the male perspective, right? So men and women look at sex very, very differently. And so the copy for selling sex education to a man is way different than selling it to a woman. So you do, and the subtleties are really important. They are subtleties, but they are really, really important. So, mastering those has been, just another feather in your cap, really.
Yeah. Could you give us a bit of an example of how it's different? Because this is aimed, what you're doing now is aimed at kind of sex education and sex, but writing for men and women, it's different across the board. So can you give us a bit of an insight into how you've kind of got into that headspace?
Well, I think the biggest part is, and this is not a slight on men at all, just so we're clear, that when talking to men and talking to male buyers in a male list, the writing has to be a little bit more direct, a little bit more obvious is a word. But you do have to clearly spell out what it is that you're selling. So that, especially in the sex education world, or even in health, it poses a problem because a lot of the words that you want to use are already really played out. So a lot of the words that men respond to are often things that we're like, God, that word is so overused, right? Just if you think about the IM space, like blueprint and tactics and things like that, like we always go on about that. But the thing is, when you're selling to men, you do have to be a bit more literal. And with women, you get to be a little bit more artsy-fartsy, a little bit more imagery-based, a little bit more play on words, and that kind of thing. Women do really enjoy a lot of banter, whereas men are just like, fuck banter. I need the goods. And so you have to, and so I love banter, like I'm banter queen. So understanding that the male-dominated list is going to respond way better to more literal, direct copy.
Which I can imagine is amusing you greatly as you write for this particular client.
It is. You know what? In my research, this is great. Like this is to your point earlier. Like I am an artsy-fartsy banter type of copywriter, right? Which isn't going to work in this realm. So in order to get into that headspace, I really had to go down and look at some male copywriters who've written smut. And one of the best resources was fan fiction, a smut in fan fiction, right? So they're writing all these fictional tales and things like that. But the words they used, and he used, this one particular guy, for his fan fiction and all the sort of romance and sex stuff he did. Oh, it was such a great read. And it would help copywriters in any niche. I mean, not that we're all writing about sliding inside her and gasping for breath and biting our lips and things, but it does help open up your mind a little bit, because there's 100 ways to say the same thing. And a lot of copywriters just tend to rely on same old shit, same old words. I'll just use the same old phrase. But there is actually, if you really Google it, there's a lot of ways to say the same thing, even if it's the most overdone thing in the industry, that you can say it 100 different ways, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm really laughing because you just reminded me of how men sometimes write. I remember reading a thing. She breasted boobily towards the door.
Oh wow, breasted boobily. I've never breasted anywhere, I don't think. And I certainly haven't done it boobily.
I do everything boobily. Anyway, we could disappear down an entirely different rabbit hole. But I'm going to jump on one of the words I'm going to jump lustily on one of the words that
slide yourself onto one of my words. My
I'm going to slide myself into one of your words and ask you to talk a little bit about, because this is something that you're really super good at, and this is something that you've helped me massively with as well. Imagery in copywriting, and particularly in emails. Talk to us about.
Yeah, it's a really hard fucking thing for people to grasp, right? And I think copywriters have a better handle on it, and entrepreneurs stumble on this at all. Every entrepreneur that I've ever met always stumbles with how to take the words and the visions that they have in their head about their product, about their company, about their vision, and translate them into words on a piece of paper. It's really, really hard for a lot of people to get that. They know what they want to sell. They see it in their head. They see the results. They see everything in their mind's eye. But to get it out of their mind's eye and to put it on paper, it's like your brain, just like the words just stop at the end of your lips. So it's very hard for entrepreneurs to do that. Copywriters are a little bit better. But one of the things that I've managed to do is act as a translator for many entrepreneurs and many copywriters, and basically say, okay, break down what it is that you really want to talk about, and then we'll figure out the email copy or whatever, the sales copy or whatever we're doing. I have a client right now who is extremely literal. Her brain is one of the most literal brains I've ever come across in my entire life. And so this was an exercise for her that we had to do over and over and over again. And I think it's like, when kids, you're talking to a kid and they say, why? And then you give them the answer and they say, well, why? And then you give them the answer and they say, why? Well, that's what I do to my clients. So if I say, well, if I say, Vicky, what does your business do? And you answer me. So what does your business do?
I help business owners be more interesting.
Why?
So that they can sell more shit to more people more often. Why? So that they can make more money and help more people and, make their way in the world.
Why?
Stop it.
So, this is part of the process, right? I mean, it's not always a question why, but it's a breakdown of questions. Like, you have this big sort of cerebral idea, and my job is to go down and start to chunk it down. And you can do it yourself. You just have to make sure that you're asking yourself the right questions. And why is a really good way. Like, for if you're doing this project at home, you can use the whys. But it's just a matter of taking that massive thought and then chunking it down into the basics, right? It's very hard when you have such a big vision, and entrepreneurs are really good at looking at the end results, not so much good at looking at the next steps. Yeah. So it's about really chunking it down and saying, okay, well, why? That's
really, really good advice. It's a really good exercise to do, because this is what I do for other people like you. That's what I do. And putting yourself on the spot like that, even when you do this, it's really hard. And doing it for yourself is the hardest bloody thing of all.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, when we did the first Bread Mastermind, I mean, you were doing the USPs going around the room, and a simple question, what do you do? And we're all like, I do the things and I make the monies. So there. And like, everyone was just like, I don't know how to say it, because we know it, but we don't know how to say it. And that's exact same with copywriting. You know it, you just can't write it. And so if you're really struggling with it, it will pay you dividends in the end to get a coach that will help you do that. But if you're struggling and you're sitting and listening to this podcast, just sit there and ask yourself why 5 times and see what you get.
Yeah. And then when you stop crying, do it again.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
Misty and Vicky have just destroyed my entire purpose.
Yeah, pretty much, right? Like, you get down to it, you're like, fuck, why am I doing this? Well, the reason should always be because it's fun. And that is what I've come to as I encroach upon my 40th year. I have decided that I'm not doing things because I'm broke. I'm not doing things because I feel obligated to do them. I'm not doing things because it's the right thing to do. I'm doing it because it's fun. And that's what I want the second half of my life to really be focused on. So that's the answers to a question you didn't ask. So
well, no, it's the answer to the eternal question that people should always be answering. And it's one of the reasons why you and I think, are going to end up in an old folks' home one day when our husbands have, popped their clogs. We'll be there with our wine going, it's not fucking fun enough. Let's have more fun.
Let's have more fun. We'll create our own old people's home.
You know what, Joe and I were actually talking about this the other day, creating our own old people's home. I was like, that's what I want to do one day. I want to create a fun home where people are like doing circus stuff and breaking their hips.
Yeah. And they're not going to sit around and watch TV all day.
No.
Like go ice skating, or I can't ice skate, but they'll do something.
Ice skating at 2 a.m. in the -12. That's
right. I mean, I heard it's
puddle.
fun.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so back in the room, how would you suggest that people start thinking about getting these, so that you start with the whys? What language do you use? How do you pull it out of people's heads? How do you build word pictures in people's heads and then make them see it?
I think, you know what it is? It's all copywriting is basically conversation just done right. Okay, so we have a conversation. In our conversation you'll hear 1,000 that's, a million yous, stutters, wine drinking, clinking, that whole thing. But if you were to take a conversation like we're having right now, or even a conversation that you would have with a client, and take out all the ums and ahs and dits and all the diversions and break down the essentials of that conversation, you'd have a pretty damn good piece of copy. Because when you talk to a friend about something or whatever it is, you actually use way more imagery and way more adjectives, right? And you get way more emphatic and way more infused than you would if you were sat down at your computer trying to talk about X, Y, and Z. So if you were to imagine that you were just having a conversation like this, or having a glass of wine, and then think about the words that come out of your head, and you can literally sit there and have conversations with yourself, and that's okay in the copywriting industry. Everybody else will tell you that's crazy, but I'm telling you, have conversations with yourself, and then just see what the words that come out of your mouth. Because I bet you, if I said, write me 2,000 words on a health supplement, you'd be like, oh my God. But then if I said, just tell me all the benefits about what do you like, vitamin C, or I don't know, what do you take? What do people take these days? It's like, what you must take a vitamin besides gin.
No, I was just going to say gin. It's just gin.
Tell me all the health benefits about gin, right? You'd be able to sit there and just spew them out, because it would just be this funny conversation, right? And so I think people get way too hung up on specifics, and they're not loosey-goosey enough with it all, right? And I think that's the biggest thing, is just imagine you're having a conversation with someone else, me or anyone, and just bat it out.
So what we're really talking about then are feelings, how these things make you feel.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things, and especially in copywriting, is if you can accurately describe how someone feels about a problem, and then provide them that solution, then you've basically nailed copywriting. That's copywriting 101, right? So if you can Lisa, for example, right? So Lisa's in yours and also coaches with me. So for example, we talk a lot about, she's in the job search industry, right? So her job is to find people, jobs, right? That's what she does. And so there's a lot of pain and a lot of frustration, a lot of overwhelm, and people feel frantic when they haven't got a job, because they got bills, they got kids, they got, all this stuff. And so if we really delve into the insecurities and the frantic search for a job, and the overwhelm and the frustration of not being able to ever get any callbacks or whatever it is,
guilt and shame,
and the guilt and the shame of being fired or laid off or restructured or whatever it was, now you can talk to a person. But if you sit there and say, well, getting your job is as easy as pie, all you need to do is put together this 3-piece resume, like, that's going to go over their heads. But if you come to someone and be like, are you going to lose your house? Like, are you going to lose the roof over your house? Are your kids going to have to quit their private school and go to regular school, or whatever it is, right? I mean, God forbid, right? But I mean, that you can speak to someone a little bit, it's like a trigger point. You ever had trigger point therapy, where basically a massage therapist comes in and fucking jabs you in the most painful part of your body?
Yeah.
That's copywriting. Just like that.
That's why I love copywriting. It's just sticking around in people's brains and making them cry, and then helping them.
And then being like, oh, I'm sorry, but guess what? I had the solution. Yeah. So make them cry, fix them up.
Cool.
That's kind of like my parenting tactics.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I was going to say I don't have parents, and obviously I have parents. I don't have children.
That actually would make a lot of sense, to be honest, if I'm being honest. Oh, that makes sense. You don't have parents. You're just an alien.
Yeah, hang on. Wait. I think you just insulted me, but I think that was reasonable. Oh. Anyway, okay, yeah, cool. So, and the other thing that I wanted to ask you about, because this is, I think, something that a lot of business owners and copywriters really screw up. Calls to action.
Is a bugger, that one. That is a bugger. Like, I mean, if you're going to fuck anything up, it's going to be the call to action. So the call to action if anyone is sitting there going, what is a call to action? Call to action is the end of an email or a sales page or a video sales page, whatever it is that tells the person what to do next. Okay, so that might be, usually it's click on a buy link, okay? Or it could be go to my Facebook group, or it could be go check out this XYZ, or whatever it is, right? If it's, depending if you've got affiliates or your own business. The call to action is specifically, what are you telling the person to do next? And a lot of times what I see in email marketing with people who are just kind of starting out, or really, sometimes they haven't been starting out, they've just been doing it wrong for a long time, is they'll create this lovely story, right? Because we all like to sell through stories. We create this lovely imagery. We talk about pain and contrast, and we talk about solutions. And it's this lovely little story. And then right at the end, they just smack you right in the face with this, right, go to this link and buy, or buy this now sort of thing, right? With 2 easy payments, you can buy this now. And it ruins the flow of the email. There's no prep to this call to action. So they've gone straight from story right into selling. And it's like, it jolts the reader. They're just like, oh, wait, I was just enjoying this lovely story, and here you are slapping a buy link in my face like a wet fish. That's insulting. So there is a little section, you've got your nice little story, and then there's a little paragraph, which is like your fluffer paragraph, if I may, that fluffs, that you put in to fluff the call to action link. So you have to write about 100 words before putting the link in to have it even like make sense, or to not jolt the reader, or to just have it not come across as being some smarmy used car salesman type situation, right? So I think that 100-word little preemptive fluffer paragraph is what a lot of people are missing in the call to action. And I think if they put that in, it would make everything flow a lot better, a lot gooder. It would be a lot gooder. It would be a lot gooder.
You're quite right about that. And do you know what that made me think of? It was like, and I haven't experienced this, thankfully, because I met Joe before the world of Tinder and that kind of thing. But it's like, you're having a nice so I've been told by friends, you're having a nice conversation with a guy, and then suddenly a dick pic lands on your phone.
They do. Yeah, dick pics are, it's like a business card. I mean, these days, it's a business card of online dating.
Wow.
Sometimes it's quite handy because you're like, yo, no, not happy.
I'm so very glad I don't have to do any of that stuff anymore.
I did it. No, I often think about, I did a lot of online dating. I like meeting people. I like talking about myself. So online dating really worked for me. And I met Berto, my.
You did meet Berto, and by the way, Berto is completely awesome. He's the most Canadian, and the happiest, most Canadian I've ever met.
He is. He's the happiest man ever. And so, well, we met online dating, but I had to kiss a lot of frogs before I met him.
I remember. I heard about many of them.
Oh, good grief! Dicks flying into my face. But yeah, there was. But the online dating scene is a great copywriting experience. If anyone is online dating here, even if you're not, just try to find some match profiles or some Tinder profiles or whatever. Just find a profile and look how bad they are versus look at the bad ones and look at the good ones. The good ones always have a story in there. The bad ones are basically like a terrible resume of awful achievements. And so
like walking on the beach, blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah, and over in Canada, it's like, well, I caught this big fish and I can drink beer on my porch, and it's like, it's brutal. But the good ones, they're copywriters waiting to be found, really. So it was quite an adventure in copywriting online dating. I honestly could set up a service right now where I could fix up men's profiles and get them a date guaranteed in less than 3 hours.
You know what? Because I remember you and I were talking about this, and after we talked about it, I was like, I'm going to set up a whole new side business and fix men's dating profiles, because I thought, apart from anything else, that would be really good fun. And then I got distracted by something else, but I still might do that over here.
Fun, honestly. Like, I could do it in a heartbeat. It wouldn't be hard, and they just have to do as they're told. That's all. But I could guarantee love. Just call me. I'm like the love connector.
We've just started an entire new business for you right now, live on the podcast, Misty. How exciting is this?
Canadian Cupid.
It's almost as exciting as the Falcon Heavy launch the other day.
Yeah, I don't watch things, so I just watch it. I don't really know much about things.
I don't watch things.
I was far too down a fingering hole to ever come up for air at that particular juncture.
Oh my god, there were so many mixed metaphors there. My head's exploding. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm going to segue away from, well, not really away from email marketing, because that's kind of what brought both of us to Canada and to the very exciting Breaking Bread Mastermind.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes, the Breaking Bread Masterminds were birthed, and they were phenomenal. I don't think, I mean, and I'm slightly biased because, well, you know, we kind of hosted it, but I don't think there's a better mastermind out there. But it's not even a mastermind, because mastermind brings to mind all these images of like 500, 600 people all trapped in a little ballroom, and, you know, someone on stage and lecture after lecture, and cheesy fucking sell after cheesy. And, you know, networking, where I just did an email today for James, where, you know, when you go networking and people are just handing out business cards. Okay, so keep that in your head. Now think about a stripper who's got one of those cash cannons that just fly out dollar bills. That's what networking reminds me of, is this, like, you just blast out your business card to everyone in hopes that someone's going to pick it up and think, oh, that's cool. In fact, that doesn't happen at all. But that's what masterminds, these big old masterminds are. It's just a clusterfuck of, I'm awesome, who are you? Oh, I don't care. I'm awesome, who are you? Oh, I don't care. So in fact, if you can get people around a table and break bread and discuss in depth their businesses, it's way more valuable than going to these fucking stupid masterminds and just tooting your own horn all weekend.
And it was so I had such a good, I mean, it's a long way to schlep, frankly, for a few days. And I'm apart from anything else, we got to meet in person, which was ace on a personal level, because we've been talking for like, what, a year now?
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like instant, like, yes, this is you know,
this is
mind meld.
I feel very comfortable in your home doing naked back bends on your carpet. I'm like, good, great.
They were not naked. I just feel like I should point that out.
Your boobs were naked.
Yeah, my boobs were a little bit naked, that is true. But the mastermind itself was completely awesome, and, you know,
it was really good.
And it was so great. And the people that you know, you brought together, I mean, you know, you hosted it, but that you brought together were just like, Alex was, before we even left, Alex was like, right, when's the next one? Shut up and take my money. And
I know. Well, Alex said, actually, after the fact, he said that he got more value out of that. He actually cancelled one of his coaching sessions so he could do these instead, because he got more value out of the Breaking Bread Mastermind than he had in some of his high ticket coaching programs. I mean, he's spending 10 times the amount of money on his high ticket coaching he did on Breaking Bread. Now, you know, this might have to change at one point, but right now, all I see is this like low cost, but like intensely high value mastermind that everyone can come to, not just the elite few, not just the ones that want to drive. Like, a lot of masterminds in North America are in California, they're in Las Vegas, and that's quite a trek, right? So I want one that's accessible to everybody, and that's affordable for everyone. So you don't have to spend $1,000 just on the flight, right? Plus everything else, you can get to it, and it's cheap and cheerful. But what you come out with is not just a whole new business like Alex did, but friends for life, right? Business friends for life, entrepreneur connection for life. And I think that's really important, because you just don't get that at the big ones. Not that I've been to.
No, you don't. I mean, I'm a member of another really small one, and it's the same thing. It's friends for life, and that's the important thing. And it's like, you know, I could give you, not you, because you were there, but I can give the listeners an example. It's like, Alex is already like, right, he's already booked on to the next one, which, by the way, as we'll talk about in a minute, but it's happening in the UK this time. 2 weeks later, Lisa joined my mentoring she joined my superheroes as well, and I was delighted and surprised, because, you know, she's got this amazing business, and it's
she's so
want to learn from you, and it's which is just so cool. And so and like Ray was there, and he has been part of my superheroes for quite a while, and is part of other mentoring programs. And it's just, you know, this stuff, it's not overtly to sell, but that's what happens afterwards, isn't it? Because you just want to be with the people that you are.
It's like Lisa said when she was there, she'd never, you know, and there's a lot of people tearing each other down, and it's very hard to find a group of people that it's very unique to find a group that will push you up and literally and passionately spend the time on your business, because a lot of people are just in it for their business, and what am I going to get out of this? And usually the hosts of the masterminds are people that have a big conglomerate, and they're trying to sell you more shit, right? Well, guess what I'm selling? another fucking Breaking Bread. That's it. That's all I got. I got the next one. That's the next big sell. And I think once people come, they'll be like, yes, sign me up. In fact, we probably have to have pre-registration lists at the Breaking Bread for the next Breaking Bread is what I'm thinking. Anyway.
I think so as well.
That's it. That's all I got, because I think that after 10 years in business, and I always say 10 years in business, but it's been a long time. I just keep saying 10 years, but I believe it's been 15, and I just keep saying 10 years. After a decade in business, I'm done. Like, I'm done scrambling. I just want to help now and help people not scramble like I've scrambled. And I think that's the biggest difference. Like, I've been to some of the bigger fitness masterminds, and there's one job. There's two jobs there. One, buy a franchise. Two, join the coaching. Both of them are thousands and thousands of dollars, right? That's it. That's the job of the mastermind, right? It's a cleverly disguised, I'll help you with this 3-day mastermind, but it's cleverly disguised as buy my franchise or buy my high ticket coaching. So, right.
And we've discovered from this that you don't need to overtly sell anything, because if you put on something like that, people will seek out what else you've got without you even, you don't have to, that's not what it's about. You help people and they will want more from you.
I think one of the biggest things I've learned, and this isn't to say I'm not going to correct this, but I can easily make 5 figures a month, right? I mean, and we're not talking crazy amount of money. This is a side business, by the way. So we've got a side business now, which is generating between 15 and 20 grand a month. There's no website. There's no Facebook page. There's no Instagram. There's nothing. But you know what there is? There's referrals, and there's knowing people, and there's having conversations. And so the side business, which is quickly becoming the business, is built from just doing good work, being authentic and unique, and referring people. Because when you have that connection, like what we made at Breaking Bad with everybody, you'll automatically refer those people, right? Yeah. That's just the way it goes, because you like them.
Yeah.
So and plus we did a lot of fun things. There was music, and there was ice skating on a frozen pond, and there was all sorts of team building exercises.
Yeah, and there was splits that resulted in a hamstring twing at the top of the CN Tower, which doesn't happen every day. My hamstring is much better now, by the way.
Yes, it was a bit of a chilly hamstring pull.
I got overexcited.
I just got into, because there's a glass floor at the CN Tower, so who's not going to do the splits?
Exactly.
All of Toronto looked at your crotch that day.
I like to think that they are, I don't know where that sentence is going. I'm going to move on.
I like to think that they are.
I like to think that they are now, pleased, basically. Delighted. Please, delighted. Anyway, let's, because I've just realised that we're kind of been rambling on for ages, which is what we do. But the next Breaking Bread Mastermind is taking place in the UK, and we've already got one space is sold out already before we've even told anybody about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Alex is planning his world tour around this, I think, which is cool.
Okay. Perfect. Good.
Yeah. You guys are also going to come to the Dingle and experience the coldness.
Dude, I live in Canada. I'm good.
I know, but somehow the temperature inside our house is lower than, absolute zero, I think. But yeah, okay.
We'll make a jinglue at yours. Well, I was gonna say though, we only have how many spots? 6 or 8?
We have a maximum of 8 spots.
A maximum of 8 spots, right? So this is where it gets very tricky, because our quest is to provide so much value at such a low cost, we can only get in 8 people into this mastermind. And so that's where pre-registration is going to come in really handy. All the websites will be up soon and you can register and all that jazz. But if you're listening and you want in before the actual registration happens, you have to email Vicky and say, holy hell, get me on that list, because 7 spaces now. So there's only 7 spaces left, and that's insane. So it really is. There's a lot. I mean, I'm not just trying to, blow smoke up.
Yeah, it's not a false scarcity thing. It's like you can't build that relationship with bigger groups. You can't do it. So
you can't. That was the thing. You can't, hot seats are one of the most valuable thing. And I'll be doing, Dan Kennedy's doing a hot seat on me in March in Cleveland, right? So they're one of the most valuable things that you're going to have. Imagine having a whole, we did a 1 or 2 hour hot seat for people, right? This isn't just one question that you can, you fly out to us and then we answer it, or the group answers. This is an entire business breakdown. Excuse me. So it really does go in depth. And even Alex came away with an entire new business concept after we broke down and restructured everything for him. Yes. So it's not just about asking one question, then moving on to the next person, then moving on to the next. It's thorough. it's intense. That's why there's only 8 people, or now 7 spots left.
Yeah, Alex got like an entire new business out of it. Ray structured his entire new business that he wants to do because he got bored with his amazing telescopes. Bruce has kicked off a plan for his.
He started a business, and Even today, I saw him in his new Facebook group. So he started a business from that mastermind.
Yeah, and Kim has changed the direction of hers. Although she's got 3,000 things going on at once, so who knows what she's doing with it now? But and then Lisa,
I saw her new website, which came off of that because of the USP, right?
Cool.
So, a lot of USP work. So it was great.
It was so much fun, and we had so much fun as well, and we can guarantee, and the other thing about this Breaking Bread Mastermind is we're not going to be in some impersonal hotel or anything like that. It's going to be an Airbnb. We're all going to be living together, I was going to say living and sleeping together then, but that's not that kind of mastermind, probably.
I'm in. Oh, okay.
Maybe for the very VIP people.
That's an upsell.
Yes, that's the upsell for just 9,997. No, anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. Yeah. It's called, what is it called? The Stables. So we've rented a fantastic little, huge venue called The Stables. So
in the Peak District.
There is nothing, and Ray said this at the first Breaking Bread, he said there's nothing as important as breaking bread with friends. And that's where this whole concept kind of evolved from, is that there's nothing on this world that will give bigger connection than actually sharing dinners. And so that's what we'll do. We'll have the stables. You'll all have bedrooms. There will be food that we will cook at nighttime, and we'll get around the table. We'll drink, we'll eat, and we'll be merry. So. Yeah.
For sure. And if you want in on that, and it's going to be so much fun. If you want in on that, email vicky@vickyfraser.com, and for now, and I will sort you out for the pre-registration list, and we will have a website up soon. In fact, it might already be up by the time this airs, in which case I'll just add it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and it's cheap as chips. So I forget I'm not going to say the price because I've forgotten what the early bird price is. So I'll just we'll do that later.
Hey? The early bird price is a surprise, and you can find out when you email me, but it's going to be, I tell you now, it's going to be a lot lower than you think it's going to be. So
it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's insane. But we're not doing this for financial gain in any way other than what comes off the back end of all of these things. The mastermind is not there to create us massive amounts of money. It's there for us to literally create solid connections and help a lot of people, because we have so much to share and so much to teach. And the people in the room, the other 7 people that you're with, will also have, the stuff that we learned from Lisa.
Oh yes, amazing.
Amazing. Like, everyone had something to share. It was incredible. Yes. So yeah.
And just before we go, where can people find out more about you, Misty?
Well, they can just go on, I don't know, I don't have a website. We know that much. And they can just go to my Facebook page, Misty RHN. The website's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah. And you and I are always doing stuff together, so I can always put people in touch with you.
You know what? I prefer a little private message. That is what works for me, via Facebook, or you've got my email address. They can get me at what's my email address? writebetteremails@gmail.com. You can find me there, whatever. But it is if you do want to get in contact with me, talk to Vicky, and she'll be able to hook you up with my private message. And that's the best way, I think. I'm much more of a one-on-one type person.
Yeah.
So
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I always enjoy talking to you, because we always just have a good time. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. It's been great.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I love having you.
Oh, you cheeky minx. Well, I just like the excuse to drink at 2:30 in the afternoon. So, wait. Can you hear my bell?
I can hear your bell.
Put it in my boobs and you can hear it. Yeah, that's my bell. It's time for more wine. So I must go. I must dash.
Awesome. On that note, because Misty's wine needs her, I am going to say, drop me an email, vicky@vickyfraser.com, to find out more about the Breaking Bread Mastermind UK edition. Please share this podcast, because, the more people who listen to it, the more laughs there will be in the world. Send them to vickyfraser.com/podcast. And I will be back with Joe same time next week. Be good. If you can't be good, don't get caught. Bye-bye.
All right, see ya.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.